Well. Welcome back to another episode of SkyBox Podcast, man. With Will Z too, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this Laker team. It's like it's glimpses where we look really good, completely new team, new system is working, new things are working. But then there's these other instances with us, man, where it's like really like glimpses of the old team. And I think what it really is, I know coaching is much better, so I can't blame it on that. But it's the reason why we lost tonight was when we underestimated them. Let's just call it what it is. We underestimated them. We took them for granted. We thought that shit was gonna be sweet, and the Pistons showed us that it ain't sweet. And they came out and bust our ass from the beginning of the game to the end. I mean, they was blocking shots, out hustling us, making the hustle plays, knocking down big shots. I mean, they was on a heater for a minute, and we just could never recover from a lot of that stuff, man. But um, a lot of our weaknesses also showed things that really need to be addressed when it comes to personnel changes and things of that nature, right? I think right out of the gates, Detroit showed us how much that the Lakers need a big man that's like a bruiser. We need Dwight Howard type shit back. We need somebody that's not afraid to bang and do the dirty work and can move a body, because when you look at somebody from a Detroit Piston team like a Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart, those are big, strong, bulky, you know what I'm saying, football built type of dudes, and we struggle with them. Even though AD still had a big game, they out rebounded us, by a large margin. Again, out hustled us by a large margin. They completely neutralized Rui. Even if he, I'm not sure what the box score was, but even if you just watched the game, you could tell he was really a non-factor for majority of the game. Jackson Hayes, of course, non-factor. Of course, our bench still struggled. So it's like all of our weaknesses continue to show. And man, Rob Pelinka could not wait. He got to hurry up and do something before this trade deadline to address these things. And then we got this lingering stuff going on with Jackson Hayes, and we don't know what his situation is going to be. If he's going to be dismissed from the team at some point, hopefully not. We're going to talk about that stuff a little bit later too, when it comes to what's going on with NBA players and putting their hands on people, and women in particular. But yeah, man, I think if nothing else, Detroit Pistons losing to the Detroit Pistons tonight showed us how much we need a big man that can bump and can bruise and is not afraid to do the dirty work and can rebound. We need 2020 Dwight Howard back. That showed us that tonight. Physical big man got the best of us. Jalen Duren gave AD problems in a lot of ways. Like he was trying to move Duren, he couldn't. He was trying to move Stewart, and he really couldn't. Now, AD is AD. He gonna still have 35, which he did, but like he worked for it. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to the paint, other than AD, we had nothing that could match them. Rui couldn't do nothing. Rui was it was rough, and LeBron was being kind of careless, threw some careless passes. They blocked his shot a couple times. They was whooping that shit. Like they don't give a fuck that he LeBron James. Like they was on his ass tonight, and yeah, we just underestimated them, and we got thumped. And we were very careless. We was too cool. We were just doing uncharacteristic, unfundamental things, and we paid for it. And again, man, Detroit just made some big shots, right? And I was asking myself, like, is this sustainable? Can they keep making the big shots? Can they keep making the right play? They were making the live passes, and they were making the extra swing for the open three. Like they were doing the things that a great team does, and you can tell Bickerstaff got them playing really hard, and you can see that Detroit has like some light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. I think when you talking about a team like the Detroit Pistons, you continue to cultivate Cade, which they doing obviously. You got a great big man enduring for the future. I think the biggest problems with a team like Detroit, even though they're already doing better than they did last year, they won 3 games already. I think something that they may still be missing is just the experience. I think they're just young, but they got a great core. I think they went and got some key pieces like a Tim Hardaway Jr. Then they got Tobias Harris back. That's like his third stint in Detroit. They like him. They went and got him back. Yeah, Isaiah Stewart coming off the bench now versus starting before, like he was before in recent years. Like they own to something. I think if they go get them a real true like a true shooter, like a true, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, like a real guy like that for that wing position, 2, 3 position, they're gonna be nice. Then you get like Tobias coming off the bench. Now we cooking now, because they're gonna develop a guy like Ron Holland. He's gonna be, he's super athletic. He's super freaky athletic, man. But he got a ways to go. Like I said, he's a rookie. So yeah, Detroit is on to something. They own to something down there. They got something stewing. And so I'm excited to see what that's gonna look like for the future, man. But when it comes to why we lost, I think it's straightforward to the point. I think we completely underestimated that team. We really need a bruiser and a big that can come in there and bang, and they can also score, and they can move a body. And AD need to be able to go back to the four. Can't preach that enough. And Detroit was hot, man. Detroit hit some big shots. They out rebounded us, and they beat us again. Like I've said before, in a lot of the areas that we needed to win. Turnovers. We had too many turnovers. D'Lo was a no show. Our bench was a no show. We got out rebounded, we got out hustled, and those are the things that we did in those first 3 wins that we haven't been doing in these recent losses. When we lose in those areas every time, or not, if not all of them, majority of them, and yeah, we're struggling because of that. So yeah, that was a terrible loss for us, man. But also to a Detroit team that's hungry and they're young and they figuring it out and they got a great coach. And Bickerstaff got them playing rough and tough and hard and aggressive and physical, and they punked us. They punked us, man. And so yeah, that's something we got to deal with. Let me ask you a question though, man. We're gonna switch gears, man. We still staying in the West, but let's talk about Russell Westbrook real quick, man. Do you think that we need to put more respect on Russ's name as to where he currently is in his career, or is it time for him to start thinking about retirement? All due respect, because you got to still remember that Russ is one of the best guards to ever play the game. So it is crazy when you see people disrespecting him like that. But we also got to be honest sometimes and say, like, Russ, that pull up jump shot that you kill people with is not really there anymore. You super still explosive and fast, but everybody's that now. You know, the shooting percentage has dropped tremendously. Um, Plays that turn into winning plays, he doesn't have those as often as often anymore. And so, there are glimpses where you still see the old Russ, but it doesn't translate into wins enough. And I think he's a crucial problem as to why the Nuggets are as bad as they are, because they was hoping that he could give them enough glimpses of the old Russ to where that bench could be sustained and he could help lead that second unit. But I've seen them drop a number of games, especially recently when like Jamal Murray went out against the Timberwolves the other night. They were, the Nuggets were winning that game, but they kind of fell apart, and they struggled, and that bench still struggles. And so that's a real question. Should Russell Westbrook hang it up? They playing right here tonight, man. I think they playing Toronto, and they were losing last time I saw that game as well. So that's just something to keep our eye on, and a question I wanted to ask you, and I'd love to hear from you guys about that. Okay. Next, man, Embiid shoves the reporter. Philly is 1-4. I'm not sure if they won tonight. I gotta check, but 1-4, 2-4, right? Like they struggling, right? Do you feel like when you talk about Embiid not playing back to backs, PG is super injury prone. He's supposed to be coming back against the Clippers later this week. He's super injury prone though. Um, is Philly going to basically shit the bed? Are they going to live below the expectations of what this team could be and what they were hoping they were going to be with this big three? I'm going to say obviously it's going to depend on their health, and it's going to depend on how many games you can get out of Embiid and PG as a collective. Kind of brings me back to the Lakers where AD and LeBron struggled to stay healthy all those couple of years, or just injuries in general like really hindered us as a team, and we weren't very good. This kind of reminds me of that, man, because you know what Philly could be, but it's like, damn, are we gonna ever get to see it? Or are we gonna ever get to see it for long periods of time where they can string along some wins and everything is not on Tyrese Maxey, who is this 6-foot guard that is explosive and fast and can get a bucket. Don't get me wrong, all-star, like a bucket in his own right, but it makes it easier to defend him when you can zone in on only him and you got a bunch of other role players like you see Oubre trying, you see Caleb Martin trying, or the Martin twin trying, and you ask yourself like, damn, is Philly in trouble? And again, I think it goes back to how many games can you get out of Embiid and PG combined? If they can play 70 games, I think they okay. If they can play 65, they okay. But if you're talking about Embiid not playing back to backs and he gonna be out every other 2 weeks, and then PG dealing with stuff, neck injuries, and then he's not available, man, then Philly might be a lottery team for real. And that's sad to say, man, because we see what they could be, but it's a matter of we're gonna ever get to see it. You know what I mean? So that's what's something to keep our eyes out on. The last thing I really wanted to touch on, man, before I got here, I think I'm gonna keep this a short episode for the night. I saw an interesting comment from Ime Udoka over with the Rockets, man. He said that with Buddy Hield joining the Warriors, it's like Klay Thompson all over again. That's how they're using him. Can Buddy Hield be like Klay Thompson 2.0? Can he be the splash buddy? Can he be that for real? Because the Warriors look really, really good. And Kerr made an alarming statement the other day where he talked about like this is probably the deepest team that he's had in a while. And I'm like, damn, I'm looking back on the teams he had. I'm like, this is the deepest? Because when you look at the roster, you might not think that. But then when I watched them play, especially these 3 games they played without Steph and they won all 3 and beat the Zion Pelicans and a couple other good teams or decent teams, I was like, they are kind of deep, and they didn't have Wiggins, they didn't have D'Anthony Melton, they didn't have Steph. They are a pretty deep team, and then they just won tonight against the Wizards, but they won. And I think this system is perfect for a person like Buddy Hield. The type of offense, and you can tell that Steve Kerr is implementing a lot of that old stuff that they used to do when Klay was in his prime, and when they were going by that real phrase of strength in numbers. When you had Sean Livingston and you had Iguodala still, doing his thing, like you can tell Kerr brought back a lot of that system, and it's working. And Buddy Hield looked good. You can tell Buddy Hield been in Steph's ear. Yeah, man. You can tell he's really been in Steph's ear though, man. Seriously. And they look good. And if you really think about it, Kerr Duke can go 9, 10 deep. And this is the thing. If you can get Wiggins to go back and be 2022 Wiggins when they won the ring, Steph keep being Steph, Draymond keep facilitating and being that point forward. Man, you keep putting, a lot of confidence into guys like Moses Moody and Kuminga. Man, then D'Anthony Melton is a great perimeter defender and two-way player. Man, Pazinski doing his thing. Like, you keep pouring into these guys. Like, how far can the Warriors really go? If you really want to ask that question, how far can the Warriors really go with the team that they have? I think I can see them going at least to the semis. Like, I can see them at least going to the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. I can see that. I can see that. And to be honest with you, because the West is such a toss up, if they're playing at a super high level and clicking on all cylinders, I can even see them going to the finals. Now, man, winning the finals, that might be a stretch. Steph gonna have to be on some crazy shit. Buddy got to be firing at all cylinders. Like this is the thing. I don't know if I trust Buddy Hield when it comes to the playoffs like that. To do what he's doing now, and it's early in the season too. I don't know if I trust him to be doing what he's doing and shooting the way he's shooting playoff time. But if you get that team to keep Buddy shooting that way, Andrew Wiggins become 2022 championship run, Andrew Wiggins, the other guys come along for the ride, I wouldn't put it past the Warriors that they could do some serious damage to some people. Like for real, for real. And so that's something to keep your eye out on, man. How can the Warriors, in my opinion, the Warriors can definitely become a 6 seed. They can definitely make it to the second round. And I wouldn't put it past them with some all-star, all-caliber performances that they can go to the Western Conference Finals. And then whoever they go against, 7 games for sure. Whether it's like a Minnesota, whether it's a who else really dominating the West right now, whether it's a OKC, whether it's a Dallas, you know what I'm saying? Now, whether who it is when it comes to them, that's another story, right? But I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they made it that far. I wouldn't be surprised. I think the only thing that will hang them up will be the lack of talent when it comes to the big man position. Trace Jackson Jr. is good, but is he playoff ready, deep playoff run ready? I don't know. Kevon Looney, can he, still make the impact he was making? All the offensive rebounds, the easy dunker spot putbacks and all those different things, the hustle points. Like, I don't know. But I think that'll probably be one of their only like sore spots is, getting dominated by a big like a Chet or, or like Daniel Gafford and Lively, like just dominating them on the boards. You know, something like I think something like that will come back and get them before anything. But we'll see. We'll see. But I think that's how far they can go, man. That's my prediction for them. And I'm excited to see how they keep coming together. They got a great coach, of course. So let's just keep our eyes on that, man. But yeah, man. That's really my show today when it comes to kind of just some updates and some of my hot takes for the week. But real quick before we go, man, what's up with like NBA players or just athletes in general, but definitely in the NBA? What's up with these dudes putting their hands on these women more and more often that we're seeing? Like Jackson Hayes, even though his situation is old news as far as like when it happened, but like resurfacing and we're seeing other parts of him or parts of the video in the situation that we didn't see before. Like I think that's something that needs to be looked into a little bit heavier when it comes to like those athletes and those NBA players putting their hands on women because how often is this stuff going on that it never gets talked about? You know what I mean? Um, and is that like a mental thing among some athletes that's not being talked about enough, like this anger and this frustration and this mental health thing? Is it too much on some people? Like I don't know, or is it just their real personality and real character being just shown in the light more because they're an athlete? I don't know, right? But something has to give because you're hearing about it too often where these dudes are like beating the hell out of women or just treating them real terrible, man. And I'm not saying the woman may be perfect, we don't know the whole story, but I feel like no matter how terrible a woman she is, unless she beating your ass and you just protecting yourself, I don't see a world where you should have to be hitting on a woman, pushing on a woman, and doing some real fucked up stuff to her. I don't think I can ever get with that. You know what I mean? So that's just my last question I wanted to take care of, man. But yeah, that's my recap for the night. Things I wanted to really make sure I touched on and discuss with you guys. Man, be sure to like and subscribe to this video, man. And I'll be back with another one later on this week for y'all, man. And hopefully the Lakers can get it together. Cause like they just be making me wanna yeah, like for just like they be just taking me there, man. So yeah, something to keep our eyes on, man. Love y'all. Peace. Hey, what's up? This is Will Z Tidwell with Speak Up Z. And I just want to take a quick second just to thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of Speak Up Z, the podcast. And my only goal with this platform is to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you around all things life, business, and mental health, whether it's myself or me bringing on a special guest. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We don't ask for any type of monetary gains or anything like that. The best thing you could do for us is just like and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.